Hello, my name is Stephen Brown. I'm a partner with Reddy Neumann Brown P.C. in Houston, Texas. And I just wanted to do a short video today to provide those that are specifically non-immigrants, but even to a certain extent lawful permanent residents, on what we mean by extreme vetting. This extreme vetting is a term you're going to hear a lot in the next few months, in the next 4 years. This is a Trump administration term of art that is designed around ensuring that there is sufficient review of everything for those entering the United States. And so what we saw in the past, what we are seeing now, and what we can maybe expect in the future is important to understand. So as of this video, it's January 24th, we started to see executive orders from the administration, and one of those was directing the various agencies to go forward and create policies and procedures and potentially a visa ban similar to the bans that the Trump administration had in their first term. Now, in the first term, the visa bans were not everybody. At first, it was certain countries that were viewed as security risks. We later got additional visa bans during COVID to help, what they viewed as helping American workers by limiting H-1B and L and all that from entering the United States. But when we talk about extreme vetting, we see a number of things that are done as a matter of course, as a matter of practice to ensure that in the government's eyes, everything is being reviewed thoroughly and as deeply as possible for legal immigrants. So a couple things we saw. Number one, a significant increase in 221G notices. You might hear this as 221G, administrative processing, security check, whatever it might be. This is the Department of State technically refusing your visa, although they continue to process it as they look through the background, they look through the security checks, they look through ensuring your clients, your employer, everything is all aligned for whether it's fraud or national security. I say it's technically a refusal because under the INA it is written as a refusal, but it is not treated like one. It continues to be processed, so it's almost like a request for evidence, but you can't do too much. Sometimes they'll send information requests to you or your employer, or to, if you're working at a third party, your end client, to provide, but sometimes it just is a checkbox that says administrative processing, and that's it. And it waits, and we have litigated some of those delays. I think they are improper, but those are very unique cases that have to be taken in view of a lot of different factors, and that happens to non-immigrant applications and to immigrant applications. An additional thing that we see on the consulate side is an increase in DS 5535 forms that are required. So you fill out the DS 160, it's typically 5 years of work, living, social media, all that. The DS 5535 was the extreme vetting form that was created by the first Trump administration, and it goes 10 years of social media, of work, of where you've lived, who you've been associated with, kind of things, so they can go through this more intently. And we see this whether it's friendly nations or nations that are security threats. Iran, for example, we see a lot of DS 5535s, even though somebody who has no security issues themselves, but because of the viewpoint of the government, they slow things down and they check them a lot more. And so We have to prepare for these kind of things when it comes to visa stamping. Have plans in place for these delays. Are you able to work remotely? Are you able to work with your employer? And just make sure before going that all your ducks are in a row from a compliance perspective. They should be already, but just double check. But getting the visa is just kind of the first part. After we see this, we get more at the port of entry. We have issues. Getting the visa stamp only allows you to really travel to the United States. The United States government, Customs and Border Protection, have complete discretion over admitting you into the United States. And so, during the first Trump administration, we would see additional secondary inspections, whether it was, just to confirm some details, or there's flags in your profile that they want to go through. And with that, they have the ability to go through your phone, go through your text messages, go through your WhatsApp messages, your emails, your computer, all your hard drive, everything from a security and a visa compliance perspective. And so if you have been violating the terms and conditions of your visa or have other issues, they're going to find it if you go that route. And the issue you need to be aware of is that when you are placed into secondary, and if you get placed into expedited removal, that is a automatic 5-year bar. Now, you can ask permission. There's ways to ask for permission, waivers to get entry before then. You can ask for a review from DHS, but those are very much discretionary. And then what we've seen before too is that they do the expedited removal, and then maybe they make a finding of fraud or one other ground for inadmissibility, and fraud's a permanent bar. And we've seen some that are incorrect determinations before, but you can't challenge them. You have to, go through DHS to have redress and then file a waiver if necessary. So it's important to ensure with all of this that your compliance is up to date, your ducks are in a row before you travel. And we've seen delays on the petition. I mean, we saw the first Trump administration would suspend premium processing so they could spend more time, cases put into security check. And maybe there's nothing wrong. Maybe there's something wrong with your, employer from 5, 6, 7 years ago that they want to go through and check everything. And so, extreme vetting is something to keep in mind. It happens. It's already happening under the Trump administration. It's going to be a term you hear a lot of in the next 4 years, and especially in the next few months as the Trump administration puts forward their policies and procedures for visa stamping, for admission, for processing these cases. And they still have to do it within the structure of the INA, but there is a lot of discretion when it comes to things like visa stamping and entry. If you have any issues with these, feel free to reach out with our firm. We've handled a lot of these issues, and sometimes some issues are more clean cases to work through than others, but feel free to reach our office at rnlawgroup.com.